Hi, Lila. Hi, Levi. It's Graham. I know you're on vacation, but I got a special book, so I wanted to read it. And then, when you get back from vacation, you can listen to it and learn some stuff. This is the book. I got it from the library today. It's called Who Pooped in the Park? Now, let me tell you, this book is about poop. So, if you don't want to hear about poop, because it's a little gross, then don't listen, but you're going to learn a lot of stuff because this book is nonfiction. Remember what I told you about nonfiction books? They have true and real facts, and you learn things from them, right? Most of the stories Graham reads are silly, made-up stories like Grover books, Sesame Street, Clifford, right? They're just silly books. This is real stuff, and you're going to learn from it, and it's called nonfiction. So, let's learn about who pooped in the park. And, that was silly.
Connected to Robin's iPhone.
What was I going to say? Oh, I know. This little thing says up here, Yellowstone National Park. It's a sign for a certain park out in Montana, and Grandma and Poppy were supposed to go there this summer on vacation, but we didn't get to go. So we're hoping that next year we can go to Yellowstone, and maybe I'll learn something in this nonfiction book that I can take in my brain when I go to Yellowstone. Because part of the reason we're going to Yellowstone is to see some cool animals. So let's see what this family is doing on their vacation. Can you see that picture? Dad, I have to go to the bathroom. Michael squirmed in the back seat. We'll be at our campground in just half an hour, said Dad. We're in Yellowstone National Park now. Look, they're going in their car and they're going camping. Do you ever say you have to go to the bathroom while you're driving on your vacation? Sometimes, right? We all have to do that. There they are in the back seat. He's just nervous, said Michael's sister. He thinks a bear's gonna eat him. She growled at Michael and made her fingers look like claws. Ah. Stop it, Emily, said Mom. Nobody is getting eaten by anything. That's not very nice. But sometimes that's what brothers and sisters do, right? Tease each other. Oh my gosh, look at that. That's quite a bear. And there's Michael. Michael was very excited about the trip, but Emily was right. He was nervous. He had just read a book about grizzly bears. He knew how big they could get. He also knew that a hungry grizzly bear would eat just about anything, maybe even a boy. Wow. We don't have grizzly bears around here, I don't think. Do we? Hopefully not. I am kind of scared of bears, admitted Michael. Don't worry, Dad told him. We'll show you how to count a bear's toes and never get close enough to be scared. Here's our campsite. Let's set up the tent. Then we can go for a walk and I'll show you what I mean, Dad said. Michael was awfully worried about grizzly bears, but tried not to show it. Let's hurry, said Emily. I want to see some animals. Look, they have a nice tent they're going to sleep in. Once the tent was up, the whole family went for a hike. Emily started to complain before they even left the campground. I haven't seen any animals yet. Maybe there aren't any here. Look at that. What's that right there? She doesn't even see that animal. A raccoon? Hiding from them? Ooh, there's all their feet gathered around something. What do you think this is? Any guesses? There are definitely animals here, said Dad. We're going to learn about them from their scat. Scat, said Michael. What's scat? Scat is the word hikers and trackers use for animal poop, Mom said. This big fat thing is bison poop. People call these buffalo chips. Right there. That is big because these are their feet, their shoes. Look how big that is compared to their shoes. It looks hard, said Michael, not squishy like poop. Fresh bison poop is squishy, answered Dad, but it dries out. You can tell how old it is by how hard it is. And there's a little fact up here about how they used to put the hard buffalo chips in a fire way back when. What do you think if Daddy puts a buffalo chip in your wood stove? I would think that would be smelly. Bison, said Emily. I thought Mom said this was from a buffalo. Technically, they're called bison, Dad responded, but early settlers called them buffalo because they look like buffaloes from other parts of the world, and the name stuck. Look at that. Those are 3 different kinds. We have an American bison, a water buffalo from India, and a Cape buffalo from Africa. Those are big animals. We don't have those around here. Here are some bison tracks, said Mom. They have big feet, Emily giggled. Bison are the biggest animals in the park, responded Dad. Males weigh as much as a small car. Wow, that is big. That's bigger than a grizzly bear, said Michael. See, Michael, said Dad, we don't have to get up close to an animal to learn about it. Instead of a close encounter of the scary kind, we'll have a close encounter of the poopy kind. Everybody laughed, and Mom made a gross-out face. That's a silly thing. Dad, Mom, look over here. I found bunny scat, yelled Michael. It's just like what we have in Fluffy's cage. We came all the way to Yellowstone for that, grumbled Emily. Michael's bunny makes plenty of poop at home. I guess they have a pet bunny at their house. That's not from a rabbit, said Mom. It's from a deer. Remember this? I'm pointing at the wrong thing. Remember we saw this in our yard the other night? And we said it was deer poop? And we're not supposed to touch it, right? But we saw it. That's from all the deer that are around Graham and Poppy's house. Bunny poop looks more like little round balls, added Dad. Deer scat is shaped more like jelly beans. I'd rather look at a jelly bean than deer poop, but that's what it looks like, just like what we saw. Are these deer tracks? Michael asked. Yes, said Mom. See how they're split like bison tracks, only smaller. See, they're split there? Pointier too, added Emily. She was starting to get interested. But what are these marks? She's pointing to these little tiny circles or ovals. Those are from his dew claws, said Mom. They're little claws behind the hoof. Dew claws sometimes show in deer tracks in soft ground, but not in bison tracks. Did you ever see that part of a deer foot? It's called a dew claw. Oh no, said Michael. Here's one of his antlers. They're pointing to the antlers. Did a bear eat him? Michael looked around nervously. Dad picked up the antler. No, he's fine. Deer and elk shed their antlers every winter and then grow a new, bigger set the next year. The antler is from an elk. Now, where have you guys seen antlers? Because you've seen an antler, more than one antler, and you've touched antlers. In Poppy's shed, remember the antlers that Poppy has in his shed? There they are in that picture. They're not from a deer, they're from an elk, right? That's what they said in this book. This elk was in a hurry, though, said Mom as she studied the ground. Michael and Emily went over to look. How can you tell? The hoof prints get very far apart here, Mom explained. And the back prints are in front of the front prints. He was walking backwards, asked Emily. No, he was galloping. Something scared him and he was moving fast. He'd run fast and his prints they look backwards. I know what scared him, Dad called. The family hurried over to look. Uh-oh, somebody spotted some poop. This is wolf scat, said Dad, and there are wolf tracks all around here. They look like dog tracks, said Michael. Big ones, Emily added. So that's wolf poop and a wolf track. and there is a wolf. Most of the tracks are shallow, Mom pointed out, but these are very deep and the dirt is pushed up behind them. That's where the wolf launched himself toward the elk and started chasing him, explained Dad. Gramps gonna move this up a little closer. Look at that wolf. Levi, remember you were looking at that wolf thing Graham has in the basement, in the snow globe wolf thing? There's a wolf in Yellowstone. Did the wolf get him? Asked Michael. I don't think so, said Mom. Look, far across the meadow they saw 2 wolves lying in the sun. There they are. This is silly. My thing keeps going off. As they walked along the trail into the woods, Michael looked all over for tracks. Look, everyone, I found another wolf track. That's not a wolf track, said Dad. It doesn't show any claw marks and the front of the big pad looks dented in. You found a mountain lion track, said Mom. Wow, that's cool. A mountain lion. Let's look for mountain lion poop, said Michael. I don't think you'll find any, said Mom, but you can look. Wow, there's a huge pile right in the middle of the trail. Oh my gosh, look at that. That's not from a mountain lion. All you can see in it is vegetables and something that looks like oats, said Dad. It's horse poop, said Emily. Right, said Mom. People ride horses out here. See if you can find any tracks. Wow, look at those. Whose feet are those? Michael found tracks all right, but they didn't look like he expected. That's an awfully funny shaped hoof, he said. Horses don't have split hoofs like bison and deer, said Dad. It's just one part. Right? That's a horse hoof? He means the shoe, said Mom. Michael looked puzzled and Dad laughed. Horses that are ridden a lot have metal shoes to keep their hooves from wearing down. That's the track you're seeing. Have you ever seen a horseshoe? This is on the bottom of a horse. What are these tracks over here? Asked Emily. She was kneeling by a hole in the ground looking at some tracks. See all these she's looking at? They go all the way over here. Dad took a close look. Check out those long claw marks, kids. Can you see them? What do they go to? Is it from a bear? Michael said with a shudder. No, these are badger tracks, and that's the hole he lives in. It's from a badger, and there he is, in that hole. His claws are huge, said Emily. That's how he digs the holes, Mom answered. He uses those front feet and claws like shovels and picks. Michael followed the tracks backward from the hole and spotted some big hoof prints. I found more bison prints over here. Those aren't bison prints, Dad pointed out. They're much pointier and not nearly as wide. There's the bison prints. These are moose tracks. Ooh, look at that moose. I think we saw a moose beanie baby, didn't we, the other night? Moose like to hang out near streams and lakes to eat water plants, said Dad, but they come into the forest a lot too. Whoa, Dad, what happened to this tree? Did the moose do that? Something was sharpening its claws, Michael, and if you looked how high those scratch marks go, it was pretty big. Look at that. What do you think was scratching the bark on the tree? It's not just the animal that's big, said Emily. Look at the size of this poop. It looks like we found your grizzly bear, said Dad. Let's see what you learned today. What can you figure out about this bear? He's taller than you, and he has really long claws, said Michael. There's Dad by that tree to measure, see how tall Dad is compared to the bear. He's been eating plants, said Emily, because there's no hair or bones here. Good, Mom said. What else? Here's his footprint, said Michael. It's huge. He has more toes than a wolf, and his claws are longer than my fingers. Well, look at that. I didn't know that. He has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And what's this here? I told you you'd be able to count a grizzly's toes, laughed Dad. That is huge. He rubbed off some hair on the tree, said Emily. It's really dark, but the tips are gray. Look, she found some bear hair. Just like Dad, smiled Mom. Don't pick on me, Dad grinned back. As they ate dinner that night, everyone talked about how much fun they had. We didn't see very many animals, said Emily, but it seemed like we did. What are they eating for dinner? Oh, Levi, I think they're eating your favorite thing. What are they eating? Can you tell me? Looks like hot dogs. That's a big thing when you go camping. And I didn't get scared once, said Michael. Look at this. You can go camping, ask Daddy to take you, and you can cook hot dogs on a stick over a fire. That would be cool. And here's all the true facts and information about animal tracks and scat. Remember what scat is? Scat is another name for poop, all the kinds of poop here. And that is the end of our story called Who Pooped in the Park. What'd you think? Did you learn something? Are you still watching? Because that was a long one. Because it had a lot of information and you learned a lot of stuff. All right. I hope you liked the poop book. I think Graham tried to get another one from the library, so we'll see how that one is. All right. Love you guys. Mwah.